Want to play a game? How well do you remember the big time and not so big time fantasy performers from the 2024 Fantasy Major League Rugby season? Well, in this week's episode of the Fantasy Ruckers Show, we find out as we reveal the team of the season for the 2024 year, plus go over some interesting factoids of some team of the week honorees that give some insight into the world of fantasy MLR. We also go over the latest news and notes, early playoff thoughts, and much more. The Fantasy Ruckers Show starts right now.
Where rugby and the world of fantasy sports collide. Welcome to the Fantasy Ruckers Show, bringing fantasy rugby to the masses, talking all things rugby from the MLR to leagues around the world. We're on top of it. Headphones on, pads off. This is the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Now, here are your hosts, Ryan Yee, Matt Yee, and Devin Vanderpool.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 116 of the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Thank you so much to our Fantasy Ruckers League members, our community members, and everyone else tagging along on this journey of making fantasy rugby a reality. The MLR with you each and every single week. I'm Ryan Yee, Matt Yee, Devin, Vandy, Vanderpool here finally. Not here the past episode. Had to have a guest host on the show. John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning hopped on the show, and he had one big question for you guys. He said, of course, on the one episode that I'm supposed to be getting my flowers, the two boys chicken out and don't want to show up on the show to face the champion. What do you have?
I don't know what he's talking about. I was too busy exploring the Great Canadian Shield. If you know, you know. If you don't know, look it up. But yeah, look, we've given you enough flowers, Fitzy. Get over it.
Compare the MLR Shield to the Great Canadian Shield.
It makes the MLR Shield look like an ant. Not even. Looks like a molecule.
I was
nothing
busy.
that can compare to the Great Canadian Shield.
Sorry, Fitzy. I was busy. I had another member to the fam, buddy.
Yeah, well, and it was also Canada Day last week, but we'll talk about that.
Omaha.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Last week, obviously Canada Day for Vandy. Maddie was up in the Great White North camping out there. And then before we get into kind of what's all about in this episode, Vandy, some pretty exciting life news for you, buddy. Congratulations. I think an applause is in store here, but you are now a father of a daughter, and we can welcome Peyton Vanderpool to not only the Vanderpool family, but the Fantasy Ruckers family. So you got now Louis running around, and you got Peyton running around. Congratulations, man.
Long time for him running, but yeah, man, appreciate it, buddy. Thanks, hey.
Girl dad.
I'm sure the Fantasy Ruckers community will be stoked for you in what is a special episode. Get her to start listening to the Fantasy Ruckers Show right away.
I told her to like one of the videos, but she won't listen yet.
Right. I mean, it's great sleeping pod to throw on. You know, instead of the Mozart you're supposed to put on to make them smarter, you just get her really acclimated to the whole fantasy MLR thing, right?
I can't even spell Mozart, buddy.
We have an opportunity here, Vandy, right? We can I don't know if this is weird to say, but Peyton could be a test baby here for the fantasy.
You try to monetize my kid right now?
The opportunities are endless. We could see if you start fantasy MLR early, maybe this is the start of something.
We'll send her to Russia where it's all legal.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we got his big episode on this one, along with the introduction of Vandy's daughter, Peyton, to the Fantasy Ruckers family. We got a big episode here. I started off the teaser saying, you want to play a game? You guys want to play a game?
Dude, you should have had a Joker mask or something.
I know.
The jigsaw mask.
Little jigsaw mask.
You want to play a little game?
But we are going to be playing a game here on episode 160 of the Fantasy Ruckers Show with in part of our Team of the Year reveal that we will be talking about on this episode. We'll be revealing the best players at each position for the 2024 season. And through that, had to look at some Team of the Week factoids that I mentioned. And that brings up some interesting quiz questions for you two that are going to be competing against one another. Plus some interesting insight into the world that is fantasy MLR. Of course, going to go over the latest news and notes, early playoff thoughts, OvalYe with Vandy, and Devin's Degenerate Dambles. Vandy, you got basically two segments like named after you, man. You're the heart of this show. And I think the community knows that.
Yeah,
it's great to have you back, boys. It's great to have you back.
I'll never be a winner, right? But at least I'll be loved.
It's okay. Just like Louis uses you as a punching bag, you're our punching bag on this show.
I'll take it.
But yeah, again, Last episode, check it out. Had Rugby Mornings John Fitzpatrick on episode 115. Got to talk about his championship season and how well he did. Donated that money to his charity of choice, the DC Rugby Foundation, DC Youth Rugby Foundation. Was able to get that transaction in, so felt good doing that again. That's what we're all about here at the Fantasy Ruckers, trying to make an impact both on and off the field, both within and outside fantasy MLR circles. And yeah, he had a lot to say to you boys, but just wasn't able to say it to your face. So I'm sure when he's on the show
Classic
next,
Fitzy.
Yeah, say behind my back.
Exactly. But like we say every episode, before we get into this episode 116, if you aren't already, follow us at the Fantasy Ruckers. Handles up above on the YouTube video, down below in the description. If you're listening on the pod, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Really helps us go a long way. We had an awesome 2024 season. Had a little kind of reflective moment on the last episode. I'll let you guys kind of talk about how your fantasy MLR season was, kind of 2 weeks post fact after becoming so close to possibly repeating there. Matty, Vandy, you're still making improvements here. But if you want to give Fantasy MLR a try, that's what you want to do. You want to follow us on the socials. We have a Discord community that you can join as well. Link down below. Have a bunch of cool guys over there. Got lots of stuff going on. And hey, check out the fantasyruckers.com, a great resource for all things fantasy MLR and just stats. And we do have our weekly challenge that we'll talk about in a little bit in our Fantasy Ruckers Leagues update. That we do have playoffs right around the corner that we're going to continue this challenge going through, and you can participate on the fantasyruckers.com. All right, you guys ready? Before we get into the team of the year stuff, you ready to get into a little bit of news and notes around the league?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get right into it. The first piece of news and notes that I want to talk about is it looks like that we are having a MLR Rising showcase match coming up just around the corner. It's going to be happening this Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time on the Rugby Network. The best of the best in college rugby will be competing in this showcase match. It looks like they have just recently done combine results and released that on the MLR page. I'm not too sure, though, what the Bronco is. And Maddie, maybe you have a better idea, having probably done more fitness testing than I have. What the heck is the Bronco? I get vertical. I get 40
actually,
meter.
It's way better than the old yo-yo test they used to make us do. I think it's 22 back, 50 back, far 22 back, far goal line back. Do it as quick as you can. That's the Bronco.
What was your time? I mean, the fastest time here
I don't know.
was Aiden Ridgway at 4:35.
Not that. I think I was around 5 something.
Dandy, how fast do you think you could do the Bronco test? It's basically a suicide across the field. Probably sub 3, right? Why aren't you in this college showcase match?
Yeah. I would have been, back in the day, I hurt my knee, or,
it's the back issue that you've been having. You were called, but because of the work back thing,
back, shoulder.
How is the back, by the way?
My molars, my right nostril, a bunch of stuff's been
lack of hair.
Lack of hair.
How is the back, Vandy? Is it doing better?
A little sore, a little tender, yeah. Not progressing as much as I hoped. But
got that college rugby showcase match happening this Friday. It'll be interesting to tune in. I think this is the first time that they've ever done it. It's going to be kind of see if you're kind of taking your fantasy MLR research to the next level and you're already looking ahead to 2025. Maybe you'll be able to do some research here. Take some of those sticky notes that Matthew is so good at taking.
Definitely don't want to look there for fantasy rugby.
Can we gamble on this?
No, Vandy. That's so degenerate of you.
And that's where the birth of Devin's Degenerate Dambles happened. MLR Rising testing results. Again, the Bronco, the vertical, the 40 meter can be found on at USMLR on their social pages. Again, that's showcase match happening on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, which should be interesting to see. I'm going to try to tune in if I can. Moving on to some roster moves now that we are in this kind of dead period in the middle of this international break ahead of the MLR playoffs after the regular season, getting some announcements of players that will be moving on to other places, other opportunities, and maybe doing the classic NPC Bunnings thing that we always talk about this time of the year. But first, a player that was recently announced for joining a team, but is now an announcement in advance of that he won't probably be in the MLR much longer after their playoff stint, is Tom Florence. Tom Florence came in round 15, round 16, and it's announced that through Taranaki Rugby, who he played with overseas, that he is leaving them in pursuit of an opportunity in Japan, which would mean that Tom Florence's time with the NOLA Gold is just a stopgap for the rest of 2024. And it looks like he will be competing in Japan, kind of similar to what Bodine Waka has been doing, and probably won't be available in MLR circles moving forward.
Yep. I mean, once you go to Japan, hey, you're going for the money, and you're going to play against guys that are much smaller than you. So yeah, good for him. Glad that he's going to be able to get paid. I think he deserved. He's a quality player, and he's had what a year. Chiefs, NOLA Gold playoffs, first ever playoff run, and now he's going to go get paid in Japan.
Which is interesting. I know there was a lot of pretty good year. There was a lot of optimism too with Tom Florence because he was such a fantasy beast, and I know he was a big pickup heading into playoffs. And I'm sure there would have been a lot of eyes on him in the 2025 draft if he had stayed with the NOLA Gold, but at least they're releasing this news early, so we don't have to have a bust draft pick before the fantasy 2025 MLR season even begins. Moving on to our classic kind of PSA that we do at this point of the year every off season. We're going to start seeing a whole bunch of Bunnings NPC roster moves. I'm going to just go down the list here, and Maddie, you can kind of give your classic PSA. But you got Lincoln McClutchy and Joe Apikotoa to the Hawke's Bay Magpies. Jason Putros is going to Taranaki Rugby. And there were a bunch of other announcements that happened earlier on,
Rory Van
even
Loo,
before
Michael Manson.
Exactly. Going to NPC Bunning. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of guys that will be playing overseas during the time off that the MLR is not in competition.
Yeah, and there will be more. I know that the teams are just trying to right now. Some of them have released their full roster, some of them are doing them slowly. But yeah, I guess back to our usual messaging, not to be worried. This is the off season for the MLR. The only thing is if they play too well in the NPC Bunnings Cup and they get picked up by a one of the Super Rugby teams. And that's what happened to Tom Florence. And he, didn't end up coming back to the NOLA Gold until week 15. So that's the only thing you got to look out for. If they're doing real hot, then you might have a little bit of concern.
Yeah, so we'll see what they're. Keep an eye on it. Definitely not something to be worried about as a fantasy manager. We've seen Putros do this before. We've seen guys come back in full form back to their respective MLR teams. But again, there is that chance that they do get that higher opportunity in Super Rugby and elsewhere. Just last note, we are in the international break, like I mentioned, so want to touch on a little bit of international rugby. To be honest, I didn't get the chance, and after looking at the score, at least from the Canada game, I wasn't too mad that I missed the game. But Scotland, USA, both competing. Canada getting beat by Scotland 73-12, which is tough. And then USA taking on Romania in what was a nail biter of a match. I saw our Discord kind of popping off there with the conversation with the USA Eagles, and it did seem like USA should have been favorites here. They're kind of around the same world ranking, but Romania coming out with the 22-20 victory in these matches. I guess the point being, though, is that there is a lot of MLR representation on both of these teams. The likes of Lucas Rumble, Andrew Coe, Quatrin on the Canada side, plus a whole bunch more. And then on the USA side, you got like Jake Turnbull, JP Smith, Tavit Lopetti, Mitch Wilson, Sam Galla, Dylan Fawcett, just a bunch of guys that are involved in this, which I guess we had this conversation with Rugby Morning last week and John Fitzpatrick about. This will be indicative. I know they have another match upcoming here. I think both teams do, and them staying healthy so that they can return to their playoff teams is going to be paramount, at least for the fantasy push. But it is good to see that there is a bunch of MLR guys that are playing at the national stage. The performance we can talk about in another vein in terms of how, especially Canada, performed against Scotland. Tough one.
Yeah, and there's a lot of MLR guys across the entire globe. I know there's guys playing for Tonga, Samoa, other nations around the world, which is pretty cool to see. And yeah, hopefully they all stay healthy for the playoff run for their respective teams. But yeah, Canada, US, tough one.
Tough one.
Fumbled the bags, eh? They fumbled the bags.
Fumbled the bags. We'll see if they can bounce back here in this last break again. MLR will pick up again in about just over a week's time, which will be good to see. And again, keep an eye out on kind of injuries that may or may not happen, knock on wood, in the course of these next international matches. The last thing I want to bring up, and it's not MLR related, it's kind of MLR related, but it's more towards the gaming side of things, which Maddie, myself, and Vandy like to dabble in every once in a while.
I don't know if you want to dabble in this one.
But yeah, this one looked a little bit tough. I was very excited and optimistic
I don't know
about the announcement of Rugby 24 that was coming out. That day was pushed further and further and further, Rugby 24, until ultimately the announcement came out is, hey, we're not going to have a Rugby 24, but to kind of go with the idea that we'll still be releasing a game, we're going to release Rugby 25, an early access version, to kind of give people a taste of it. And I was optimistic. I knew some people in our Discord were talking about getting it, and after seeing some initial videos, it was tough to watch. And I know rugby games have been a challenge, but I would say even like PS3 version of a rugby challenge, a PS3's version of Rugby Challenge 2, Rugby Challenge 3.
Bro, it looks like a mobile
look better than this. Yeah. So I mean, hopefully these developers can use this feedback that they're getting with this early access. It is only released on Steam right now to hopefully turn things around and get it to a game that can.
I don't understand what feedback you're looking for. What a ruck looks like.
I know,
because that's pretty clear. You don't need my feedback to know what a ruck looks like. That's for sure.
There were a whole bunch of bugs in that one. Yeah, it did not look great. Well, we'll see.
I guess Ryan, the tie-in is that the MLR is in this game,
which is cool.
Not in the early access, but they will be in this game. I don't know if the MLR wants to continue to associate themselves with this game, but hey, good for the league. If you can get this game selling to 10 people maybe throughout the next 10 years, all 10 people will be aware and be able to play with their favorite MLR player.
I'm pretty sure our community moderator, Stephen Lowen, he bought the game.
Oh, Stephen.
Saw the reviews and just didn't even open it. And
you can return it after 24 hours.
His ideology is that at least he paid the $29 to help the developers make the game better.
Oh yeah,
he's hoping when the full game comes out later this year that his $29 went a long way for them.
Too bad for you. They pocketed that $29 and bought a beer down the street.
Steven, I give you credit, man. You're a cup half full type of guy, man.
That's true.
We do like that. We do like that about Steven. But Ryan, before we move on from news and notes, just recently announced by US MLR, Major or S. Marcus Callaway Community Impact Award nominees has been announced.
Oh, why don't you? We got breaking news live on this podcast.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the Community Impact Award is given to the players. I'm going to say the full name. The S. Marcus Callaway Community Impact Award is given to the player who shows passion, excellence, integrity, inspires others, aids the less fortunate, and upholds MLR's core value.
Okay.
Each team is nominated a player, and the committee selects a winner.
Drum roll, please.
So we got 12 nominees, the most we've ever had, because the most teams we've ever had. There we go. We got Jake Turnbull from Anthem, Charlie Abel from the Chicago Hounds, Sam Galla for the Dallas Jackals, Siosi Mahoney for Houston SaberCats. We got Harley Wheeler for NOLA Gold. Callie, friend of the show, Callie Martinez.
This is back-to-back years.
Back-to-back years to be nominee. Yep. Rick Rose. So, hey, rookie's making an impact for the Miami Sharks. Rose, I guess. Ben Lesage for the New England Free Jack. Beats out Quatrin, I guess, for that one. Jason Dom for RFCLA. Mikey Teo for San Diego Legion. Vandy, love that. Dan Creel for the Seattle Seawolves. I know he does a lot in the community there. And then Jeremiah Naoesi for the Utah Warriors. So congrats to them.
That's good. We love community service. That's great. Hey, good journalism there, Maddie.
Good journalism.
That's just good stuff on the show. Didn't even have it in the rundown. Make sure to get it in there.
Let's go. And we'll find out at the MLR Championship in San Diego who the winner is of that. And we'll see a nice little interview with the winner, I'm sure.
All right. Well, let's get on to our favorite part of the show.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
All right, hear ye, hear ye. Here is Supreme Commissioner Yee with the Fantasy Ruckers League's update. You guys missed this segment. No. I know Fitzy said it was his favorite segment last year. You can roll the tape. He said it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Said it's weird. I said a couple things, but I can't on here, Fitzy. But you know what I'm saying.
I said it's weird that I didn't hear any booze on it when you guys were on the show last week. Surprisingly, I didn't get any booze this time around either. I guess.
Well, you know what? I should have booed because I've got to make sure to give you your flowers, Ryan. We got to make sure to give you your flowers before we get into what we're going to get into here. I got to make sure to say congratulations on winning the weekly challenge, Ryan.
Well, we
You
did
won
say
it
that,
throughout the
yep.
season. I'm sure you said it last episode. You and you
This
and
feels
Fitzy. I'm
good.
sure we're having a
This
little
feels
party
good.
by yourself.
This
You know,
feels
cheering
good.
around, dancing around. Nope, didn't need the claps.
Feels good.
Didn't need
This
the claps.
feels
We didn't
good.
need the claps. You can stop them. You can stop them, or else I'm gonna go back
My
to
balls
booing.
are hot.
But good job. Yeah. See, we needed that one,
My
but
balls
not the
are hot.
claps.
My
Sorry.
balls were hot.
Daddy
My
ears
ball-
kicked in
balls
for
are
a sec. I was like, Batman, I
balls
see
are
my
hot.
symbol. My balls,
My balls are hot.
My balls were hot during the Team of the Week challenge. What can I say?
There you go.
I mean,
Anyways,
it was.
that's all I wanted to say.
All I say, Maddie, is that it came down to the wire. I just had a scorcher of a final week. I was quite happy on that last one, so it was good.
I mean, hey,
Yeah,
it is
well.
what it is.
That's good. But I appreciate that. I know that took a lot from you to say. But kind of that brings us to our kind of only announcement here in the Fantasy Ruckers Leagues update is we do have that weekly challenge continuing into the playoffs, and we will have that up for both people that participated in the regular season. Plus, we'll put it out there. We'll provide people the link. If you want to join, get your first taste of fantasy MLR, want to dabble in it to see maybe you want to go even further to compete in it in the 2025 year, this is your opportunity to do that. Everyone starts fresh. Everyone's going to compete in the 3 weeks with the semifinals, conference finals, and championship match. And the change this year, which we announced on last episode with Fitzy, was that you don't need to stick with the same 5 guys throughout all of the playoffs. You can change, just like our weekly challenge, from a week-to-week basis based on the teams that are remaining in the playoffs. So get your research in, see what you're going to do. You got about a week and a half before those lineups will be due, and look out on our social medias at the Fantasy Ruckers for any updates with regards to the weekly challenge. All right, you guys ready to talk a little bit of Team of the Year and the best players from the 2024 season?
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right into it. And you guys have already seen the rundown, so this isn't a surprise to you. So we're gonna save the quiz here for a little bit later. But we're gonna run through our Team of the Year for the 2024 Fantasy MLR season. Of course, if you're following along on socials, we had a Team of the Week, which will be part of our trivia segment in just a couple minutes here. But we're gonna go over the best performers from a season-long perspective from each position. And we'll start off at the front row position, and that is going to be who else? Andrew Quattrin, friend of the show, with a total of 122.9 fantasy points for the New England Free Jacks throughout the season. He's a guy that has been a marquee front row from fantasy circles for quite some time. Had a season high 16.5 in round 9. Really fluctuated around that kind of high double-digit mark, and had a total of, counting here, 4, 5, 7 tries on the season, which is pretty solid for Quattrin and the year that he had. Cool to see.
Yeah, cool to see. Surprising for a year where New England Free Jacks Mall and Set B struggled, but hey, we love to see it. We love to see friends of the shows do well.
Question: does Quattrin next year, and this is probably too early, does Quattrin get drafted higher than Dylan Fawcett?
Yeah,
The Butcher.
Yeah.
You think so? All right.
Well, maybe not. Chicago maybe comes, they have a better year next year, I'm sure.
We'll see.
What about Coach Day?
That's true
Also
too.
a good one too.
And again, stay tuned. We're just going to go over the top guy in each position. We're going to be having throughout the offseason a discussion about the full rankings and dive deeper into each of the positions. But just an early head scratcher to see.
Hey, listen, I just got to put you guys on a swivel.
It's true. All right, moving on to the second row position. You guys could probably guess who this guy is. He was far ahead of the rest when it came to the advantage that he had at the second row position, and that's Frank Lahore of the Utah Warriors, scoring a total of 168.2 fantasy points. Had only 7 games where he scored under 10 points. Man, what a season. And this guy is going to be the guy that gets drafted unquestionably as the number 1 second row next year, if he's still with the Utah Warriors, or still in the MLR, I should say. Had a season high 27.3 in round 6. Pretty cool stuff for Frank Lahore, and is our second row Team of the Year honoree.
Yeah, no surprise there with how much he played in the back row.
Absolutely. All right. Moving on to the back row position, Los Angeles representation here. And this also comes at no surprise. Semi Kunatani, who even in addition to not starting games, I believe he was a guy that I think got
red and yellow cards
here and there, but he did not
should have
score
been suspension. Didn't get it.
less than 12.1 fantasy points if you take away the first 2 weeks when he came off the bench. But after that, in 16 straight weeks, including 2 where he scored 17 points plus
off the bench
and came off the bench, he scored higher than 12.1. I mean, Semi Kunatani, what a beast. He was great.
Head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Semi Kunatani, he might be just consensus like top 3 pick next year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We know how we do with guesses early on.
But what made Semi Kunatani so much different than all the other back row players? Like, why was he
his size?
He scored. He had the ball all the time, and he just always scored. He literally couldn't stop scoring. He was allergic to not scoring.
Semi Kunatani's
yellow cards.
Semi Kunatani's 2024 season or Riekert Hadding's 2022 season?
Wasn't that the one where Riekert was on drugs?
Well, yes, but he played the full season.
All right, so I'll take the
have we
season.
tested Semi Kunatani yet?
That is true.
That's true.
But hey, right now he's clean, so I'm gonna take the clean.
What do all those athletes that are on juice say? What is it, ox meat or whatever they're eating? I think it's ox meat.
Where are you getting this, bud?
Buddy, I watch a lot of steroided up athletes.
Anyone you'd even take in consideration over Semi Kunatani from a back row position, just out of first thoughts?
Sorry, say that again. I missed that.
Any back row players you take over Semi Kunatani at this point, kind of early predictions here into 2025?
I think Jordan Mao is going to have a year next year. That's my prediction.
Yes, he will if he's back. And then, I mean, if there's a big name that comes over to the MLR, you obviously got to consider them.
Either way, Semi Kunatani is up there. And again,
he's goated.
All 3 of these guys, Quattrin drafted in kind of mid rounds, right? Lahore, I picked up off waivers. Kunatani was drafted not that high, if not picked off waivers. I mean, it just goes to show you how volatile this fantasy MLR thing is, and how good our rankings were going into the season, Maddie.
Oh yeah.
All right, scrum half position, scrum half team of the year, Connor Tupai of the San Diego Legion, 115.5 fantasy points. Tupai kind of just had that breakaway speed ability, like to attack. He was a guy that had these kind of explosive games. He had a 15.2 match in round 8 that kind of put him up there, hovered around kind of 5 to 7 points, and had these kind of games where he scored 5 tries on the season. It was just kind of, there were games where he just didn't appear for the San Diego Legion at times. But I mean, you're pretty happy with Connor Tupai's performance, Vandy. I know you had him in fantasy circles.
Oh, hell yeah. It was guaranteed. If San Diego played, he's playing. Yeah. And he's playing basically the full game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty crazy stuff. Anything else to say, Matt, as a 9?
No, just he ran support lines, and that's how he got his points, and that's how he scored his tries. And that's what you love to see in a fantasy 9.
Would you rather, I know, again, we'll go into kind of where he finished off, but Andre Warner or Connor Tupai next year?
Neither. Give me Kieran McClay, but tell me he starts every game.
Yeah. Well, hold on, Vandy. I mean, halfway through the season, when you were telling me Sion Going should be starting, I've been telling you since week 1 that Kieran McClay should be starting.
No.
Yeah. What kind of Utah Warriors fan were you?
Go back. Run the tapes back.
I've run them back. I've looked.
Run it back.
I know.
All right. Maddie?
I don't know. I think Tupai has the higher upside. Andre Warner is more consistent, but you always love to have that upside on fantasy side.
Good point. All right, moving on to the fly half position. I feel like we should have seen this coming, right? We should have seen this coming, but Jason Potros is our fly half team of the year, 210.6 fantasy points. Did not score less than double digits outside of 3 weeks. Had a season high of 24.5 in round 4. Jason Potros was about as consistent as it got outside of his injury that he sustained for, I believe, that 1 week.
Yeah, week 17.
Outside of that, Potros was pretty lights out this season.
Yeah, the last 3 weeks he really just said,
he took it, man.
I'm not letting Joel take this.
Honestly.
I'm not letting Hodgson take this one. I'm coming in hot, and I'm gonna do something that I don't usually do. And that's score a bunch of tries, and he did that in the last 3 games.
Yes, he did.
All right.
Yes,
moving on to the center position. This is a guy that we've talked about a lot this season. Team of the year, We predicted possibly Leroux Milan. We predicted possibly Ben Lesage, but this was a guy that we did not predict in that New England center pairing. There is Wayne Vanderbank coming through here as not only the best center in the New England trio, but the best center in all of fantasy MLR, finishing the year with 200.3 fantasy points. I mean, what a season, what an unexpected season, at least for fantasy managers, that Wayne Vanderbank had in terms of scoring. I mean, you just go down the list. I mean, he was electric. Only scored single digits twice, one of those coming off the bench and the other one being in week 1, but had a high 28.9 in round 7, which is crazy.
I mean, 40 points ahead of the next guy. That is just ridiculous. He's a guy that we love to see play. And I think a unexpected guy to take over when we saw the return of Leroux Milan, even though he's coming back from his injury. But yeah, hats off to him. But also, I'm going to say hats off to Junior Gaffa, and we're going to talk about it more in the offseason for sure.
For the anthem.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Tarangatira Waitokia was a guy that was kind of an honorable mention in this space, but he lost his center eligibility, and that kind of transitions us to the back 3 position because a guy that just went on a scorcher at the end of the season. Tarangatira Waitokia would have been your top back 3 team of the year, but it was snatched away and stolen by Michael Manson, who just went on the last 5 weeks that he played. Just incredible. 14.2, 21.5, 20.6. His season high in round 17, 38.3, and then follows that up with 15.9 for a season total 242.1 fantasy points. And he not only finishes as your top back 3 player, but also your top fantasy player overall.
And he only played 12 games.
And he only played 12 games.
And I'm just going to bring this up again, but I just remember at the start of the year, he was part of my honorable mentions. I definitely had him as my pick.
That's where we're going to, huh? Honorable mentions.
And I drafted him, by the way.
The top 5.
Yeah, I didn't draft him, by the way.
You didn't keep him.
I did draft him. I didn't keep him because he got suspended. That's his fault.
So, I don't know. It might be just as much as your fault. But if we look back at some of the book it bets, I believe you said Reese McDonald would finish off.
I did, but
back 3.
I called it before Manson even stepped on the field. I said, hey, this guy's going to be good. He's going to be electric.
True. Well, he steals the team of the year honors and the team of the year for the player of the year from Tarangatira Waitokia with some of those performances at the end. Michael Manson is your fantasy MLR. Does Manson, if he's healthy and returns to Utah, is he the number 1 pick next year?
You know what? I remember doing this in the offseason last year. We said it with Joe Mano. Same team, same predicament. No.
I know.
No, he doesn't. It's just a consistent thing with the MLR. If you do good, the next year you die.
So you have the number 1 pick, Vandy, right now. You're not picking Michael Manson.
I am, but I'm not destined to win.
Look, I think Manson has a different factor than what Joe Mano had. I think it's a little bit different here. I think it's a little bit different.
Juice last year, dude.
Yeah, but when you look at Manson this year, you see a guy that literally could not be caught.
True.
He could not be caught. You give him space and he takes a mile. It was nuts.
And that's a good point because I think you look at the fantasy production. I'm going to pull it up here. You look at the fantasy production and way the points were tallied between these 2 years. What did Mono have? Mono had, I believe, 6, 8, 10, 14 tries on the season, right? Manson just have 6, 7, 8, 10 more tries. Never mind. That kind
of look at the meters gained though. Like
I know
the Manson just got so many meters gained. He didn't even need the tries.
How many Mono get? 14.
Mono got 14. So
Manson got 14.
And Manson actually scored less points than Mono. But to be fair, Manson also played less games. So I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. I thought I had a point.
We're going to have to get into this at some point.
Haven't we done this before?
Yeah, we have done it before. It's deja vu. It happens every year, Vandy. We've done this for 3 years. It's going to happen again. It's just the way of life.
Remember the feet out talks, man?
Yeah, I know. Do you remember the Mikey? You remember the Mikey Teo talks? Yeah. What comes around goes around, Vandy. We're going to have a brand new guy that's going to be number 1 next year. So far,
and you love
we've done this. We've done this 3 years in a row, and we've been 0 for 3.
Okay, now saying that, we've done this. This is what year
3. Year 3. Year 3 is the official kind. We've done it for 4 years, but 3 years.
Okay. Official. Would you rather have new faces always take over, or kind of like football where it's CMC?
For my health, for my health as a fantasy manager.
As a fan of
no, I want new faces. Give me new faces.
I like
every
new
year.
faces. But as a fantasy manager who wants to win, and if I have the number 1 pick, like I'm gonna have a friggin' heart attack because like the stress that it's giving me that I'm gonna screw up this pick. I mean,
you just be better. How about just be better?
We haven't been better, Matty, for the past 3 years.
No, look. This is what it does. It takes the value out of the top pick and makes rounds 6 to 12 or 6 to 15 even more important, and makes it that much better. That's where you win this league.
If you had a keeper league, I'd be like, I'm keeping Dust and just hopefully turn into a diamond next year. Like, I'm just taking like, okay, screw it. He's young and fast, and maybe he gains 20 pounds in the offseason and goats himself next year. Like,
look, the unique thing about Fantasy MLR we found out is that you win the league in the waiver wires.
Yes.
All right. And you win the league in rounds 6 through 15.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Your league winners are not in rounds 1 through 5.
And very rarely in those first 3 rounds does your guy even get back to where he was ranked.
All 3 of my guys were dropped. All 3 of them.
Yeah, like
first, second, and third.
Didn't live it up. Creel didn't live up.
I mean, right. I was just gonna say, you look at that first round that we had. Like, I think good picks would have been. I was okay with Billy Meeks.
Dropped.
Davey Coates turned it on.
I picked him in the second round.
Too. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Davey Coates in a second. You're not mad about that,
right? But again, point being that there's a lot of volatility here. And then to round out our team of the year, your co-defense set piece team of the year teams are the Chicago Hounds and Dallas Jackals at 49 points. What this has taught me is that do not pick a defense or set piece until the last round. Or don't even pick one.
Or don't even pick them.
And just go in the seat. Like the value here, like, and we're gonna get it here in the team of the week trivia. Like, we're gonna start seeing a lot of insight into the value of certain positions and the point production and things like that. But like, man, think about it. Like 49 points. It got half the value, less than half the value of what a scrum half gets. Your best defense got half the value. And we know how bad the scrum half position is at the fantasy MLR production standpoint. So,
now, you know what? We got to give Dallas their flowers, boys. They turned that team around in 1 year. We were clowning on them, falling off.
I didn't clown at them.
Yes, you were.
I didn't clown at them.
You rode them like they were Jackals,
I never clowned them.
What can I say? The Dallas Jackals.
You're green screening hard.
Green screening hard, but I'm a den dog.
A den dog. Is that what they?
That's what they're called. Jackal
den. Very weird.
Den dog.
Jackals, den dog.
Huh. So, anyways,
Fitzy was saying that even though we said they turn around, because when you only have 2 wins in franchise history in total, the only direction is up. And to be fair, they looked good this year, but they also still only finished 6-9 and made it into the playoffs, right? Like, it's not like that they had, like, they made it in the playoffs, which kind of kind of covers that, but
don't look at the record. The record is not what we're looking at here. We're looking at, we could finally trust Dallas players in fantasy. They finally had an offense that actually looked decent. They could actually score points. That's what we're looking at. It's not the record, Fitzy. Stop staring at the record, Fitzy. It's not all about the record.
Yeah. And as your in-house Dallas Jackal fan, I'm quite happy with that.
And look, you can definitely go down from 1 win, all right? We saw Toronto Arrows win 1 game and then fold.
Yeah, they literally
imploded. That is true. All right. Well, it is time, after now that we've gone through the team of the year, it's time for a little team of the week trivia.
Vandy cheated on this.
We have our team of the week trivia.
What the heck is this?
Portion of the show where Vandy and Maddie are going head to head here. I got some questions for you. I went through all
cheated already,
of our team of the week honors throughout the course of the entire season. And there were some interesting trends that kind of came up. And I'm going to ask you guys some questions to see how well you remember the players who were big time and the players who were not so big time through the fantasy year. Now, there's a couple rules. There's a couple rules here. If you're listening or if you're watching on the YouTube channel, play along here. Bring out a pen and pad, a pen.
It'll do better than Vandy.
And you can see if you can play along and beat here, Maddie and Vandy. Leave us a comment as you're watching the video. Rules here are, there are 4 categories that I distinguished our team of the week honorees.
I literally don't even know how to get to the website.
Hey, settle it down. We're doing
Dad.
rules here. The Supreme Commissioner is talking.
You're my dad.
Bow down to me. That's true. Vandy is the dad on this show. Bust performance ranking is 0 to 4.9 points. All right. Or anything less than 4.9. Average performance is 5 to 9.9. Good is 10 to 14.9. Great is 15 to 19.9. And a boom performance is 20 plus points. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Going up in increments of 5. Bust, average, good, great, boom. You got that, or is that too much for you?
Wait, was good below average or above average?
Good is above average. Bust, average, good, great, boom.
Yeah, what question was that?
I feel like it's general consensus, Vandy, that
we're good.
You'd rather be good than average. But
I don't know.
Depends on the day.
Vandy loves average.
Yeah, second rule is I will allow you to have the fantasyruckers.com website up, but you cannot go
I won't even open it.
I'm not even looking at it.
You can't go into the player profiles to go through this. Okay. So those are the rules. And now
you don't look at it, Vandy. I'm not looking
at it.
No, look.
Questions for you guys here as we go through it.
The thing
my face is not white.
If my face turns black,
I need my contestants to pay attention here.
I don't think that's how screens work.
The people are playing along. All right.
The website.
Not how screens work.
All right. You guys ready?
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Team of the week trivia here. Let's play it one more time.
Wait, do we have a button?
No, you don't have a button. I'm gonna ask. We'll alternate here. Vandy will go first.
No. You have to go. You go.
No.
That's how you do it.
All right. You want to do that? All right. You say whoever says first. Okay.
There's gonna be a penalty if you and you don't got nothing.
That's true. There is. All right. The very first question. Listeners, viewers, play along here. Who had the most team of the week honors at the front row position? Okay. Maddie, who do you have?
Andrew Quattrin.
I think that's who I was going to say.
That's a good one. You got it right. Vandy, I'll let you go, though. There are 2 other names. They're all tied for 2 team of the week honorees. I won't let you say Quattrin, but there are 2 others for you to get it. And that answer is...
Oh, you stink, buddy.
And Joe Taufe'e. Is that right? Almost. Both had 2 other. Too many A's.
Garbage.
So that is 1-0 in favor of Matthew. All right, into the next question.
You stink.
We're gonna go down. We're gonna go down the position list here. I think you guys might have it, but who had the most team of the week honors at the second row position?
Me.
All right, Vandy.
I gotta say my boy Frank Lahore.
Correct.
That is correct. Good job. 1-1 ties it up in.
That was a pretty quick Vandy.
That was pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
All right, moving on to and that Frank Lahore was the only second rower to get multiple. Or I shouldn't say multiple, was the only one with 4 that was the highest.
Okay, wait. Before we go into this one.
Yes.
You're gonna go with back row next.
I don't know, am I?
You're cheating.
Does Frank Lahore count because he did second row back row?
No. Doesn't count.
Okay.
All right. Everyone only got on this list twice, or on this list once. Coming up here, who was the back row that had the most team of the week honorees?
I mean, come on. Semi Kunatani.
What? Maddie, you have a chance to steal.
It's got to be your boy. Then, if it's not Semi, it's got to be your boy.
Who was?
Donamo. What?
Vandy, you have a chance to steal.
Oh, it's got to be Sam Tuifua then.
Correct.
There we go.
Wow.
Sam Tuifua with 3 team of the week honors.
It wasn't Kunatani?
It was not Kunatani. Kunatani had
getting yellow cards.
Yeah, I guess.
Kunatani, that's true. That is true. Kunatani had, I believe, 2 team of the week honors. So
Wow. I as soon as Hunatani was out, I'm like, oh, it's Mo.
There we go. Well, Vandy is now in the lead 2-1. Moving on now to the team of the week honors when it comes to the scrum half position. Who had the most team of the week honors at the scrum half? Okay, Maddie.
I don't know.
Thomas Inciarte.
Oh, I think that's gonna be it.
What? That is not correct.
Oh.
And what's funny here is, guys, that there's 4 options. 4 players tied for 2 team of the week honors.
All right, well,
past position. So you basically have a pretty good odds of getting it, but Inciarte is not on that list. Vandy, you're up.
He played center for 3 of them.
Can Tupai be? I mean, it's got to be Tupai. Or Andrew Warner. Oh,
too long.
This is too easy. Andrew Warner.
Not even his name. Not even his name. He didn't get his name right.
Andre Warner is one correct. We got 3 more scrum halves to go that were all tied at 2 team of the week honors.
Kieran McClay.
Hey, I was up.
Connor Tupai did not have 2.
Wow.
Look at that on the list.
Okay, Kieran McClay.
That is correct.
What?
Wow.
Kieran McClay did not have 2.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna jump.
You guys suck. Vandy, Maddie, you're back.
Wandy Olivier. I think it's just Oliver.
Correct.
Wandy Oliver was 1. So Maddie pulls within 1. Vandy, you're on the clock here. There are 2 more scrum halves that had 2 team of the week honors.
I feel like I've seen his name a lot. Say OC9.
Correct.
Good job.
Nice.
Seosinai is on there. That's a good pick. And there's 1 more on this list. Vandy is up 4-2 in the team of the week trivia.
Can I steal it?
No, we'll see. We'll give Vandy or Maddie a couple seconds here.
I already know it.
5 seconds, Maddie.
No, I'm out.
All right. It's got to be my old boy, Niall Saunders.
Niall Saunders is
no.
Wrong. Oh! There's 1 more. I will give each of you 1 more chance at this. Maddie, who is the final scrum half team of the week honor?
The heck, John Poland?
Vandy, you're up. And if you're listening or watching, who do you have this on your list? Or Matthew and Vandy just
Nola's guy. I had him last year. Luke Campbell.
Luke Campbell is correct.
Wow.
Vandy pulls ahead.
Where'd you get these sounds? Like Wii Sports?
It's good though,
yeah,
right? Royalty free. Pretty good. All right. Moving on to the team of the week fly half position. Who had the most team of the week honors at the fly half position? We have 3 different names here that got 2 team of the week honors this season. Matthew.
Davey Coetzer.
Oh, that's
right.
Correct.
That is correct. So 1 point for Maddie. Maddie pulls within 2, 5-3 in favor of Vandy still. Vandy, though.
Potros with his last 3 weeks had to have gotten at least 2.
That is correct. Jason Potros. And there is 1 more on the table. Maddie.
Oh, this is tough.
The final fly half?
It's got
Jason Robertson.
Why did you say that?
That is wrong.
I could have told you. I don't think he got him once.
Yeah, he might have.
It's my boy, Joel Hodgson.
Oh! Maddie, you're back up.
Oh, it's got to be.
This one's actually a tough one.
No, I know who it is now.
Videla. Santiago de Videla.
That was mine.
Correct.
That is correct. Maddie.
I thought you were going to say Mac Mason for 2.
Nah.
Jason Potros, Santiago Videla, Davey Coetzer all had 2 team week honors. You guys are having pretty fun with this, huh? You guys like this game?
No.
You don't like this game. All right. Well, let's go to the center position. Who was the center that had the most team of the week honors? 1 person in this one. 3 times he was on team of the week.
Easy. There's only 1 guy. Is it my go?
You didn't earn. I earned.
I forgot it.
Maddie.
Just say it.
Wayne Vanderbank.
Yeah, that's easy.
What?
It wasn't Wayne Vanderbank.
Now think about eligibilities. This one is kind of
and it wasn't Wayne for centers.
No. So Maddie.
Say his name. No. Vandy gets to go.
Is it only centers?
It's only centers, but this one's kind of weird because he kind of like was on the cusp.
Don't give him hints, Ryan. Right, Don't give him hints.
Matthew has it, I think. So Vandy, you have to steal this one.
He's on the cusp. Then, I mean, the easy answer is Turangatira.
5,
White
4, 3.
I'll give it to him. He said it.
What? He didn't even say it. He was thinking about it.
No, he
oh
said it.
my gosh, that is such a yoke.
I was going to finish it with Turangatira.
Goes
what
up
a yoke. All right, move
4.
on. This is rigged.
Finally,
this is probably just going to be whoever can say the fastest. Okay, Vandy,
no, you gotta get the question to finish.
All right. Who was the back 3 player that won most team? Oh,
he did it before you finished. He did it before you finished.
No, I didn't. Manson.
That is
correct.
Michael Manson had 3 Team of the Week honors. It is 7-5 here heading into the last question of this round. Defense set piece. Who was the lone team that had multiple Team of the Week honors? More than 2. They had 3. Only team to do it. Vandy.
Chicago.
Oh! Matthew, what about you?
Nola Gold.
Ooh.
Correct.
That is correct.
Dude,
Nola
well
Gold.
Well done.
That is a steal.
Let's go.
Pulls in 7-6. Incredible.
Well
very, very good. All right. This is where we get into the interesting question. Those ones were okay. You can kind of guess based on kind of how players play. But this is the one where we kind of get into those fantasy insights. So for this question, viewers, listeners, follow along.
Bad. 0-5.
Only one position had boom performances in every single week at that Team of the Week honoree, except for 1 week.
Wait, sorry.
Every single week, this position scored more than 20 points, except for 1 week. So whoever was on the Team of the Week honor for that position scored more than 20 points, except for 1 week. What position was that? Vandy.
Back 3.
Correct.
That is correct. The
Vandy.
back 3 position scored boom
That was
games.
a gimme.
Boom
I only know that because Michael Manson got 38 points.
Boom performances every single week, except for week 11, where they got a great performance by Jerry and Misalagu. No back 3 player got over 20 points.
Manson was out
in week 11. Every other week, there was at least one fantasy player or one back 3 player that scored higher than 20 points. All right, let's get into some more of these interesting questions as we keep on trudging on here. Okay, I have now a question for each position. All right, one question for each position. All right,
we'll start off with the trivia point.
Oh, all right, you're right. You're fair. So it's 8-6 for Vandy. For the front row position, which front row Team of the Week honoree was the only front row player to have more than 1 boom 20+ point performance? Matthew.
DeWalt Coates.
That is correct. So Maddie is pulling within 8-7. All right.
Let's go.
Which is interesting, right? You're learning some fantasy insight here. How's it not interesting?
Well,
now you know. You're just like you're not going to get multiple boom performances from row play. That's how unique it is. You know what I mean? Like the threshold.
I was saying it's not interesting that I'm coming back on Vandy.
No, that is.
Vandy's going to choke.
Vandy does choke. All right. Second row question. Only 2 second row players that were on the Team of the Week list had a boom performance. Name one of them.
Frank Lahore.
No, you didn't.
I'm going to give it to Vandy because he was there answering.
What the heck?
Why did you
I did the
I think your filter might have gone. Your filter might have gone.
Correct.
All right. Frank Lahore is the correct answer. Vandy, I'll give it to you. But Matthew, I'll give you a point here. Can you name the other one? You get one shot at it, though.
Gonna be a sneaky one. I feel like it's Max Kadieko.
I was going Mason Flush.
Final answer?
Yeah.
That is wrong.
Is it Mason Flush?
Justin Basson.
Oh.
And
I would never have gotten that one.
No, neither. You could have given me 10 guesses.
All right. Back row question now. What was the lowest performance level? Lowest performance level. So between bust, average, good, great, boom. was the lowest performance level that a back row team of the week honoree got to make the list? What was the lowest performance level and they still made the team of the week list? All right, Maddie.
Average.
Average. That. Wrong. Vandy, what is your answer here?
Good.
That is correct.
The heck?
I honestly thought I thought it was going to go the other way. I thought you guys were going to say like great, and it would have been like, no, they actually did worse. But I guess, Maddie, you were too pessimistic there. So Vandy leads 10-7 here. We got 5 more questions.
This ain't real.
Maddie, you still have a chance to come back here. We're going to go to the scrum half performance. What team of the week scrum half honoree had the only boom performance of the year? Maddie?
Gotta be.
Jason Higgins.
Jason Higgins is the answer for Matthew, and that is wrong.
All right, Vandy,
Jason
now
Higgins
you got this one.
Had a great performance, not a boom performance. Vandy?
Now you got
Wait,
this
it's
one.
a boom performance?
Boom performance.
20 plus, baby.
plus points.
You got this one. Come on, buddy.
I don't
You
think
got this
Tupai
one.
did.
Is it NCR there? The only boom scrum half performance.
Oh,
wait. It's got to be Kieran McLeod. You got that 3-try game.
Kieran McLeod is wrong.
Oh, I know who it is. Thomas Inciarte.
Thomas Inciarte. Your love for Inciarte is gonna get you busted. Not Inciarte.
Wait, what is
Vandy,
the question here? It's only a boom performance?
Had the only 20+ point performance at the scrum half position this year.
Dude, it has to be Kieran McLeod. He had a 3-try.
You literally just got an
I know, but
Kieran McLeod had a great performance, not a boom performance.
Can I go again?
No.
And Kieran McLeod's performance actually went in the same week as this player. So.
Is it
Matthew?
That's his. That's his. No, he said that. He said that one. I'm going next.
Matthew, go.
Siosi Nye.
Correct.
That is correct. Siosi Nye and we
suck it, Vandy.
What do you mean I said this guy?
You said Niall Saunders. That's your guess.
Yeah.
Same way you got turning into your white Tokia.
All right, 10-8. 10-8. 2 points. Maddie's making a comeback here. All right, we'll see. We got
you guys don't play this game right.
4 more
You
questions.
don't play the game right. Have you ever watched Jeopardy?
Yeah, once the guy gets one wrong, there's no clock. I get to go.
No.
4 more questions.
You said Niall Saunders.
All right.
I was thinking Niall Saunders.
Said out loud.
On to the fly half position. What was the longest week streak where there was not a boom performance at the fly half position? What was the longest string of weeks where we didn't have a fly half that got over 20 points?
3 weeks.
Andy. Close but no cigar. Not 3 weeks.
4.
Correct.
That is correct. 4 weeks.
Yeah, his brother does him a late. Close, Matt. Close.
I didn't do that, Vanny. Come on. You know,
rigged.
I don't know what you're talking about. I want good television, and good television is a close match. It's 10-9.
Sound like the NHL.
Winning. That's true. I am the Walmart Gary Bettman. All right. Moving on to the center position. How many good performances, so 10 to 15 points, was good enough to be the center team of the week honoree? How many good performances? How many times did a center score 10 to 15 points and still made the team of the week
That's
honoree?
tough with guys like Devon Rousseau, White Tokia, Wayne.
All right. Maddie?
I don't know.
8 times.
Wow. I'll say, Vandy, since I gave Maddie a hint, he's way off.
Way off. How many weeks? I mean, those are some good ones. I'm going 3 again.
3. Not 3.
6.
6. Not 6. I'll give you each one more chance. Vandy? Actually, we'll get one more.
How many weeks in a row did
they
get?
How many weeks? He just didn't understand the question the whole time. How many times did how many times did a center make the team of the week list when he only had a good performance?
I still think it's got to be low. 5.
Maddie, your last try?
It can't be that high.
14.
Andy, your last try. And if viewers, listeners at home, if you're playing along.
Oberon, lucky number 11.
Lucky number 11.
I was way off with 9. What do you mean 11?
All right. It was only one time.
Wow.
Did a center make
that would have been my next guess.
You know, I knew it was low. I said it too.
Make the list when he only scored a good performance. Every other time a center position either scored a great or boom performance.
Wow.
It just goes to
Good
show you
centers.
how much point production that centers get out there. All right,
Good
moving
centers.
on. 2 more questions left here. We are still at 10-9. So Vandy, you get this answer. You seal the deal for the win. Maddie, you got to get it right to stay in contention.
Okay, give it to me.
How many weeks straight of boom performances, so 20 plus performances, did the back 3 position get in a row before the lone non-boom performance?
Wait, say that again.
How many weeks straight did the back 3 position, who was on the team of the week, get 20 plus points until that one only non-boom?
10.
10 is the answer.
Correct.
And that's correct. Right on the dot. Maddie got 10. Jeremy missed
Ryan gave away the answer.
I did give a hint earlier in the show. I said week 11 was Jeremy Misalagu.
No.
Listen up, Vandy.
So 10 weeks in a row.
Laying up to his brother.
All right. Hey. Now we got an exciting one.
And it's funny because it comes down to the defense and set piece.
Gross.
Okay. So, all right. What was the highest performance rating that the defense set piece ever got out of any of the performances all year long? What was the highest performance that a defense set piece was able to get?
Just the number of the team.
Just the type of performance. So what was the highest performance on that ranking list? Did a set piece get all year long? What was the highest level that they reached? I'm not going to give you guys the answer. No, you guys both give me an answer. All right, we're tied 10-10. You guys both give me an answer. Vandy says good. Maddie, what do you say?
Good.
Say good. Okay. You guys
correct.
Are both correct. Now, the tiebreaker. Can you name both teams?
Both?
There were 2 teams that got a good performance. Can you name both teams that were able? I will let you both answer. Maddie, you go first. Actually, what I'll do is, Maddie, you name a first one.
Then we're both going to get it.
No, that's true. All right. Okay. Both of you say it.
Wait.
The heck at the same time?
Or 2 teams?
Name both
2
teams. Both teams.
You know, Vandy, you can go first.
Well, I know for sure one of them was Dallas. Because I remember that.
You're taking too long. You're taking too long.
Dallas and Utah.
All right.
Dallas and NOLA.
And correct. Maddie wins the quiz. It is the trivia quiz here on the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Matthew wins it 11-10. I hope you guys had fun playing that game.
Vandy.
Wait.
What'd you guys
what?
Check the website here.
What are you checking? You fact checking the commissioner?
No, it was
fact checking the commissioner right now.
Check NOLA in week 9.
1 point.
Yeah, that is true. This is true.
Was it true?
It was just Dallas.
Oh, that's not good.
I do see.
All right, we all win here on the Fantasy Ruckers Show. I swear the answers are credible. But moral of the story here is I think there are really cool trends, and I know we got to get the show wrapped up here pretty shortly here. But
hey, Ryan, that was fun.
Was that fun?
That was a good time, buddy.
All right, I'm glad.
You're allowed to make mistakes. That was fun.
This is the off-season content.
Yeah, but you know what sucks? Tying. Ties suck. Don't give out participation
kissing your
trophies.
sister, you know.
It's just cool, Trent. What did you guys learn? For me, I mean, you just kind of figured out how powerful the back three position is. I'm starting to lean more like it's risky to go there. And I know last season we went into it saying, oh, the center position, but like the back three position, like they just score like boom performance. If you can lock it down, every single week, even the guys that don't get it, it's crazy.
I learned gun to my head. I can't name over 7 9s in the league.
That's true.
Gun to my head.
Yeah, there you go. That's why you're that's why you're an expert on the Fantasy Ruckers Show. All right.
I need the website. That's why you need the website.
That's why you need the website.
Yeah, I was going off. I can't believe I got 10 just looking at you. Like I didn't use the website.
Yeah. Me neither.
That's good. Let's just look.
I can't believe I got 10.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. Got 3 more segments here in the show. Just gonna quickly go over it here in the next handful of minutes here. Just want to quickly touch on early playoff thoughts. And we obviously have the playoffs coming up here in just a few weeks. Or not a few weeks, in a week and a bit. Houston, Dallas, Seattle, San Diego playing in the Western Conference, New England, DC, NOLA, Chicago in the Eastern Conference. I think I'm going to really just ask 3 kind of straightforward questions here for you guys that we can kind of go rapid fire here. And I asked Fitzy kind of the same questions. 3 good things. Who is your by far favorite that you would bet the mortgage on?
Said it after week 1. Houston.
Why do you guys do that? You guys do this all the time. I said I'm going to go around. I guess we could say that. Rapid fire. Houston. Is that what you're saying? I'm saying Houston.
What do you mean? What do you think rapid fire is?
I was going to ask the 3. I was going to ask
rapid fire is. Rapid fire means you answer quickly. Ask the question. Ask the question. What was your favorite? Houston. There we go. Go next. Who's our most likely winner? Houston. All right.
All right. Who's the most likely? Okay.
Who's the buzzsaw? Houston.
I called him a buzz after week 1. You guys can't ride me.
Who is your most likely shocking winner? Who could you see it?
Nola. Yeah, that's good.
Nola? You think Nola actually has a legitimate chance?
If the Hounds win, I'd vomit.
I think they have a very good chance. If DC beats New England, I think Chicago has a straight shot too.
All right, that's a pretty big.
They still got to win.
Ask Fitzy. Fitzy thinks that they can happen. They only lost by 1 in the both times that they met in the regular season.
Okay, good for them. Way to go. It's playoffs. All right.
Last question. Who is your most likely upset in the first round?
Most likely. And it's not just because I'm going to put money because there's going to be great odds. I'm going San Diego, upset in Seattle.
Yeah, San Diego.
I think it's Chicago over NOLA. But all right, well, there you go. Early little thoughts there on the playoffs. Obviously, that's coming up July 20th, 21st. We'll make our picks on next week's show. But yeah, it should be fun times. Good job killing this kind of odd week.
Well, it's time for our 2 favorite segments.
It is time for our 2 favorite segments. And then we started off with OvalYe with Vandy, presented by OvalYe. And we are talking a strategy when it comes to your free-to-play tournaments, your pay tournaments, when it comes to weekly, limited, rare, all on OvalYe and the platform that we are trying out here. On behalf of OvalYe, we had the pleasure of creating our teams several weeks back. We had the live stream up on our channel on YouTube, and we've had fun kind of participating in it throughout the weeks, and we're kind of learning more and more on the best strategy here moving forward when it comes to OvalYe's tournaments and free-to-play kind of competition.
Look, I got to break this down here, all right? There is 2 ways that you got to go about this. You got the free-to-play, all right? And you got the limited. I'm going to start with free-to-play. Free-to-play, you are just picking your best guys week to week, all right? I'm going my Wayne Vanderbanks.
You smell burnt I'm going my Wayne Vanderbanks.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Wayne Vanderbanks, I'm going the Jonah Mose potentially.
Yeah,
I'm going the
and these are the playoff teams.
Yeah. I mean, essentially all the playoff teams. Make sure you're playing on playoff players, obviously.
But here's the question. How much does matchups go into that? Because you have, let's say, a player like Sam Tuifua, right? Going up against Houston. Would you rather Sam Tuifua, who has been electric in OvalYe all season, or do you go with Jonah Mo, or maybe a player like
I'd rather Jonah Mo. I would look at a Billy Meeks. Different positions, but yeah, Jonah Mo, definitely I would be going to Jonah Mo.
But that's my question though.
I would even look at guys like Jed Melvin, guys look at Seta Baker. I don't think matchups matter as much here. Like, it's playoffs time. Games are going to be close.
Yeah, I think
you look at the matchups, like even the Dallas-Houston game is going to be somewhat close. To Fitzy's point, we've seen the DC and New England Free Jacks, and that's the 1-4 one in the East. We've seen those games be close. I think this is going to be a dogfight throughout the entire playoffs. I don't think matchups are as big of a deal. What I think you do want to look for is these high scoring teams. You want the high scoring close games.
Yes.
You don't want the low scoring close games, right? So like Houston, Dallas, I could see that being a lower scoring close game. I can see Houston's D kind of stepping up in the playoffs. I can see the New England DC game being a little bit close. I can see NOLA Chicago really being a bit of a dogfight here and kind of running up the score. So that's why I would go Jonah Moe. That's why I would go guys like Billy Meeks, Julian Dominguez, maybe Dylan Fawcett in your second row. You know, those are the ones that maybe I'm looking for. Seattle, San Diego, I could also see that one being a pretty high scoring match as well. So
take a guy like Mac Mason, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So before you go into your limited and rare and other paid tournaments when you invest in the cards, kind of wrapping it up in with a nice little bow here. Your tips for your free-to-play tournaments is picking matches and the solid and the best players from the matches you believe are going to be high scoring back and forth affairs. So you're looking at which matches, just to say again, Matt, that you think are going to be high.
I think Seattle, San Diego, NOLA, Chicago. With that being said, you can't sleep on Potros.
No,
like you can't sleep on Jason.
Are there some
especially
players?
One other thing though is always this sounds crazy, but check the weather. Huge, you know, if you're getting storms, you're getting this, that, or the other. Don't sit there and think that, you know, kicking's not harder in the rain. You know, definitely check on weather too, not just, you know, availability matchups. If you want to go deep, check the weather.
Yeah, some players are more matchup averse than other players, like i.e. Jason Petros, but not many players are weather averse. It's going to affect all the players in the exact same manner. And again, you want to capitalize on points being scored, and rain, wind has a tendency to keep those points scoring down low.
And as we just to wrap this all up, Ryan, I'm going to shift over to the limited here. You got to be careful and with your value of the guys that you are picking up, if you got to pick. So check your lineup, make sure that you have guys that are in the playoffs, first of all, and make sure you have guys that you can line up that are in the playoffs. Second, look at your lineup and make sure that you have guys that you think are going to go to the end, right? If you don't, then you got to supplement with some guys. And when you look at the trade, auction block section, you got to find guys that you might want to overpay for guys that are going to make it to the finals, because those are the guys you're going to rely on and you're going to hope to have, and you won't have to buy another guy to fill that hole. Right. You just got this one guy that you can rely on for the rest of the thing. So look at guys from New England, look at guys from Houston. I think those two are probably the most sure bets of making it to at least a conference final.
And I mentioned on this show, on the show last episode, that's the ideology, is just you know, picking the teams, whoever you think it is that's going to go far, and you select those players to go forward there. For me, I'm picking Houston, guys. That's the team I think is going to go the farthest. I want my Kutzers. I want my Ronan Murphys. I want my
Peter
Aneasu. I want
I mean, hey, you know who I want? A Wayne Vanderbank. If I'm finding a Wayne Vanderbank on that trade block, I'm picking him up.
So you like New England? You think you like New England? You think New England's going to go far?
I think they're going to at least make the conference final, right? They're at least going to get there. So I've got 2 games out of the 3. And hey, like the chances of them getting to the finals is pretty high. So, and it's hard to sleep on Wayne Vanderbank.
Vandy, who's your kind of team, the players that you're going to be selecting from? Houston, New England is our picks. Vandy, you like those teams, or do you like anyone else that you maybe would side with?
Yeah, just to throw 2 other ones in there, I like the Legion. I like Seattle. Both, like, Seattle has shown multiple times in the playoffs. They bring a next level to it. They're a good team. They make the playoffs all the time.
Devon Rousseau card sounds pretty good.
Exactly. Mac Mason, Devon Rousseau, Dan Creel. You know, you get some of those guys.
Yeah.
Same with
just guys. Again, to wrap it up, when it comes to the limited rare tournaments where you're investing in these cards, like I mentioned last episode, make sure you're picking guys and buying guys that you're confident in the team that is going to make it as far as possible. Ultimately, to that championship match in San Diego, I'm going there. All right. Well, that is OvalYe with Vandy presented by OvalYe. All right. Last segment as we quickly wrap up. Not going to spend too long on this one because obviously we still need to wait for the odds to come out. But here is Devin's Degenerate Dambles. Vandy, you look down those matchups that we just talked about. Houston, Dallas, Seattle, San Diego, New England, DC, NOLA, Chicago. Is it as chalk as it being all of the rankings are going to follow who is going to be the favorites in each of that matchup? So is it going to be as straightforward as Houston's the favorite, Seattle's the favorite, New England's the favorite, and NOLA's the favorite? You think that's how it's going to go?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Now you say San Diego is your most likely upset. Yep. Does your money go where your mouth is? And does it? Is that the value pick that you're going to play if San Diego's the underdog?
Yeah, this week I'm going to go. I love a good underdog. So I will be putting money on San Diego, Seattle. Another one to look for. You never know, upset. Houston is ranked so high. They don't drop many games. So that Dallas one might have some crazy odds to it. Keep a little peek out for that one. As far as New England versus Old Glory DC, that would be one I link into a parlay. DC's not a bad team, but don't love them. And then NOLA, Chicago. So if you wanted a decent little parlay, chances are Houston's going to win. Chances are Seattle's going to win. Chances are New England. And then, pick a NOLA, Chicago to flavor it up a bit.
Yeah, should be interesting. I would say the only one where I don't see an upset happening is probably that Houston-Dallas matchup. So I actually mentioned it on last episode, Vandy. I think I'm going to go with a loser's parlay, and that is pick San Diego, DC, and Chicago. I think you're going to get a pretty good odd with the parlay going that way. And it is, I think, the most likely outcome that could happen.
And you got to remember, a $2 get you 40.
Yeah.
In a parlay like that. So
we'll see. But again, those odds will come out as we get closer to that July 20th, 21st matchup date. But hey, fun episode, guys. You guys enjoyed the trivia? Did you want to play the game now that we'll play more game?
Had a good time. It was good music. It was good sound effects. And apparently we all won.
You have 60 seconds to answer my questions.
We'll play the game or Triple more H. Games. We'll play more games. We'll play more games this offseason. Lots more to come. Lots more stats breakdowns. A lot more in-depth analysis when it comes to MLR. Make sure to follow us. The season may be done. The fantasy MLR season may be done, but the breakdown of the conversation definitely does not end here on the Fantasy Ruckers Show. We'll bring you that. We'll bring you special player interviews, things like that. We actually have a special guest coming up next week on episode 117. You'll have to tune in to find out at the Fantasy Ruckers to find out who that may be. All right. For Matt Yee, for Devin, Vandy Vanderpool, I'm Ryan Yee. Guys, anything left to say to the people?
I got nothing left. Just you're in for an unreal off season. We're not done, baby.
All right. We'll see you next week on another episode of the Fantasy Ruckers Show.
Woohoo!
You've been listening to the Fantasy Ruckers Show, bringing fantasy rugby to the masses, covering everything rugby from the MLR and beyond. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and be sure to tell all your friends. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, connect with us on social media at the Fantasy Ruckers. Till next time, this is the Fantasy Ruckers Show, signing off.